Meghan, well, I wouldn't do it because I'm a little bit more respectful than this, but like the thought crossed my mind to refer to her as the Instagram loving wife, the title from that South Park episode. It's meaner than what I just said, but it's so funny how many people have approached me over the last week, Rupert.
All right, let's break down this latest Meghan and Harry whirlwind. Because honestly, the last week has felt like watching a live action TMZ headline unfold in real time. From twerking pregnancy videos to a Disneyland PR dash, the tone is chaos, the messaging is messy, and even the people who used to defend Meghan are now looking around like, what is happening?
And we'll get to Harry and Meghan later. But it's so funny how many people have approached me this last week after the twerking video to be like, did South Park predict all of this? Is South Park coming to life?
It was when that dropped. I think you sent it to me.
I did. I'm
And
sorry. I'm
I'm
sorry.
thinking, and because I've sort of been doing derbies and all that sort of stuff, and then it comes to me, and I think, is this a parody? Is this a joke? Are we sure? And then obviously it transpires that twerking video was absolutely true, and it beggared belief. And I know we've got plenty more to talk about them later on, but it just it it's certainly over here in the UK, even though they're sort of defending it over there, aren't they? Saying, "Yeah, everybody happy." It's only in the UK that we are stunned by this. I mean, I just think it was the tackiest, most ignorant thing to post on
Yeah.
someone's but on the birthday of your child.
And
Why?
is anybody gonna mention the fact that like Archie gets like one picture, the back of his head, but for Lily, we tried to make it a national holiday for grid posts. Like, did Lily and what I mean, why is Lily the second coming? It's clear that she's the favorite child, and that's so awful for poor Archie. Archie's probably already like, I'm over this family. But let's talk about some happier news right off
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
top. David Attenborough, I love seeing him with Prince William, and they did a special interview. Now they recorded it in May, but we're just now getting access to it, talking about the human impact on the deep ocean floor. Unspeakably awful is what he said of what he witnessed during a conversation with Prince William, and he's promoting this new documentary. Now, they recorded this, which I thought was interesting, at London's Royal Festival Hall in early May. It was shared on social media on Saturday. The feature length documentary, Ocean with David Attenborough, explores how his lifetime has coincided with the great age of ocean discovery and why a healthy ocean keeps the entire planet stable and flourishing. It's available to stream now. Dream Team and
So let's start at the most wholesome part of the entire story, Disneyland. The idea of a birthday cake, maybe some flowers sprinkled on top, magical vibes, wide-eyed children, all the stuff families usually go there for. That's what the average person pictures when they hear the word Disney. Except here, even that turned into a controversy, because the video didn't read like an intimate couple moment. It read like two people performing for the camera. And that's when the Netflix theory gets brought up. Maybe this was originally shot as part of their documentary footage.
it seems like there's so much more depth and detail when we hear from Prince William than when like Harry's in China. When Harry was like, it's hard, when you challenge the world, it can be hard. Okay, well, welcome to common sense, brother.
Yeah, well, this is the big difference, and actually the difference in their situations. Harry, if he was still in the royal family, might have an ability to do what William is doing and actually work to that effect. In a sense, Harry now is clutching at straws and trying to give an air of
Probably plastic
seriousness.
straws too. They're probably not even paper straws, Rupert.
Okay, anyway, but whatever he's doing, but I do appreciate what William is trying to do because it links to his Earthshot, which is a significant initiative that he has put a lot of time and effort into and does seem to have a growing sort of significance in the kind of encouraging people to be innovative when it comes to the environment. And obviously, the ocean is an area that does need innovation to make sure that we don't ruin our primary asset, as you just listed there. It is a giant food basket if treated correctly, and everything else, the air that we breathe and everything about the oceans needs to be treated with as much respect as the land. There's no difference, maybe even more so. But I think we have a complacency because most people live in land. If you don't live near the sea, it's sort of a forgotten thing. You don't even think about it. It's a bit, in many ways, it's a bit like people living in a urban environment. They don't really understand how they get their beef burger. They don't. It comes in a plastic container. Wrapped up in plastic. Thank you very much, and you eat it, but actually don't know the process of how it ends in that situation. It's obviously you don't want to know, and it may be something similar when it comes to the oceans. We are just ignorant because we never actually give it a moment's thought. We just assume it's going to be all right, but don't actually know. So that's why what David Attenborough's done, what Prince William has been doing over the weekend, is a small but hopefully significant step in making people aware of what is going wrong with our oceans.
What do you say to people? Because I watch a lot of British TV and I hear a lot of the anchors or hosts completely dismiss anything climate change related when it comes to Prince William or King Charles because they take they're on their helicopter or is that something that they should address? Is that just the way it's going to be? Do you just go automatically dismiss that criticism you hear from some of those people that say they have a hard time taking William and the King seriously when it comes to talking about environmental issues?
You're probably damned if you do and damned if you don't. And this is the problem. They have a busy schedule. So if, for instance, when William went to Cornwall the weekend, which is a long way from Windsor,
Yeah.
with the Duchess of Edinburgh, it probably makes sense for a day to take a helicopter down there because it's a 3-hour train journey. And if you actually want to do something and commit and give a amount of time, then you need to be getting there as quickly as possible, just logistically. So I don't have a problem as long as there is always a thought at the back of the mind. Look, we always see people in sort of my neck of the woods down at Kemble and where quite often we'll see the Princess Royal just hop onto a train as she goes up to London, no, and just does that and gets on with it. And that I think if people actually look at the diary and say, right, well, we've got to get there. Where is it? Now, I wouldn't suggest that if there's an event near Windsor that you take helicopters, but if you're going to Cornwall, perhaps is it the end of the world? No. You've just got to be aware and from the optics. And I'm sure the royal family are very aware that they need to make sure the optics looks good, particularly if you are talking about the environment. But it don't mean that you can't take a helicopter. Just, the world is not going to be made any difference if they don't take one helicopter. I think it just means that maybe over the year, you just look and say, perhaps there's a little less than there was the previous year. And you work towards it and try and build a schedule that is actually conducive to reflecting the sort of our environmental concerns of both the King and the Prince of Wales.
Yeah, I almost wonder when I hear somebody be so dismissive, if at the end of the day, they just don't care. So it's an easy out. So it's an easy way to dismiss King Charles and Prince William because that's not something that they're necessarily passionate about in their Maserati or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so because they're not passionate about it, it's easy to dismiss King Charles and Prince William.
Well, and it's an easy headline, isn't it? There's a lot of easy headlines out there. It's just sort of, if you are of an environmental persuasion and that's your big thing.
Think about it. Harry recording his freedom flight. Doria filming them watching Oprah. Meghan screen recording Harry proposing while she was literally on the phone with someone else. Meghan records everything. And this video doesn't fit the victim narrative they wanted in their Netflix series. It's too upbeat, too playful, too braggy. So maybe it didn't make the cut, and Meghan recycled it later as content.
Just to have a pop because, oh, look, they're taking another private jet or they're taking another helicopter. I think people have just got some common sense has always needs to be thought about in these circumstances. And look at, there are the security issues. There are things that need to be considered above and beyond the black and white headline. Oh, look, they're taking a private jet again. Oh, look, they're taking a helicopter. I do think it is something they shouldn't, if possible, be taking private jets willy-nilly. But a helicopter, that is the way they get around the country. I don't have a problem with it.
All right, well, let's get to some stuff I do have a problem with.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
My immediate instinct when seeing the pictures of Meghan Markle and Prince Harry at Disneyland were Meghan Markle trying to recreate those iconic Princess Diana photos. Why show us? I mean, your family stresses that they want privacy. I have so many thoughts. I'm like verbally vomiting right now. Okay. First of all, every time she posts about an adventure outside of her house, she thanks thank you to Beyonce and her team. Thank you to Disneyland. I mean, it's just missing the hashtag sponsored, like hashtag ad, hashtag sponsored. She just looks like the ultimate influencer. Thanks for the freebie is basically what it says. So that drove me crazy. I felt like they were absolutely trying to recreate Princess Diana's pictures. Why are we getting an entire week's long celebration for Lily? When Archie just gets one post, she's making me pull my hair out when it comes to what her activity right now. It's just like, chill out. Do you ever sleep? She's so blatantly addicted to Instagram and the attention she gets on Instagram. When is Prince Harry going to have the intervention?
Well, therein lies the problem. And actually, when you look at the Disney pictures, it looks like they got their personal private visit round there, and they were followed by a photographer
Yeah.
and a film, and so it was staged, managed. There didn't seem to be any interaction with any of the, other people who were there. And actually, that's what children quite like, to be around other children in those circumstances. Now, I appreciate, again, you don't want them necessarily being besieged by all and sundry. But there is such a thing
But
as the
that's
VI.
not going to happen at Disneyland.
Yeah,
Everybody's at Disneyland for the same thing.
yeah,
Celebrities walk around Disneyland all the
yeah.
time. That is not going to happen at Disneyland.
And actually, probably, if they walked round and didn't have a camera crew working, most people probably wouldn't even give them a second glance.
Mm-mm.
But then that would be not what she would want.
Right.
So therein lies the problem. And actually, when you look at these poor photographs of Lilibet, we got a half a here, half a there, and then back view, all bit weird. The one person we keep seeing, it's
Meghan.
all about Meghan, and it's not about Lilibet. Now that obviously the Lilibet saga, we've been hearing about, they did not approach the Queen to ask, and they said they did, but it was telling that it was not featured in the spare book. They didn't sue the palace, even though, and when you think, just the Queen was angry about Lily in the name of Lilibet. Now, it's not Lilibet's fault, if you see what I mean, but it's the parents' fault that they just thought they thought they were being clever and not really giving it, because Harry has an inability to read the room, didn't think for one moment, this was a precious sort of nickname for his grandmother. Just, leave that alone, leave that as hers. And that's what upset the late Queen, because she just felt, they just went ahead and did it. And now you just see these contrived Disneyland photographs. Look,
Yeah, one fake princess meets another fake princess, because in
oh,
America we don't have princesses, okay?
yeah.
Sorry, not sorry.
And then they get a birthday cake. I do hope that Meghan did bring some flowers to sprinkle on it, and dry, and elevate the cake yet further. But I don't know whether she did. But I look, it is all children know Disneyland is a bit of a magical thing. We've all, um, I think at times, traipsing my children around, I don't want to say bar humbug, but it's absolutely ersatz hell on earth to me. But I'm not in the majority here. Lots of people absolutely love it, and it's an absolute bucket list trip. So, and I've done it, and I did the Florida one, and stayed in the sports hotel there. Um, that was a lesson. So it was, but I mean, it's still great fun going around doing the rides and seeing it, and with a small child, do the wide-eyed stuff, and that's what it's all about. You even with these Disneyland pictures didn't feel it was wide-eyed enough,
No,
and
no, it all looks
becomes
like.
wide-eyed. It becomes wide-eyed enough if they are standing there at the parade when that's coming past and all that sort of thing. That's
Oh
what
my
people
gosh,
want
I
to
know
see.
some of my favorite pictures of my nephews, or we're on the I took my nephews. I was like, let's go during the Super Bowl. No one will be there. Everyone was there, including Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad. Super Bowl, not a great day to go.
The hosts point out the obvious. Meghan needs to stop posting. Not forever, just long enough to get a real PR plan, a real business roadmap, real consistency, real impact. Because right now, it's a frantic scramble. She's everywhere and nowhere at once. A blur of cookie mixes, podcasts, pregnancy clips, over-edited reels, and contradictory narratives. And Harry is fading into the background, always being dragged into it all. His friends reportedly tried reaching out, and Meghan allegedly shut that down. His isolated, his not saying no to anything, his letting everything happen around him while looking increasingly miserable in public. The saddest part? People believe he has no one left to pull him aside and say, "Mate, what are you doing?" Because this isn't the life he imagined when he left the UK for freedom. This is a life built around content creation, curated images, and increasingly tone-deaf publicity stunts. Let me know what you think about this video in the comment section. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of my future uploads. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you think or what you want to see next.